Hi, everyone. I'm just quickly testing layout here a bit. Oh, that works out really good. All right. I'll be honest with you guys, when it comes to technology, I go in a little bit of a flat spin. So I have my version of ChatGPT, who is Sabrina. She'll be joining us later. So if I get stuck, I'm just going to be yelling her name. Gino,
Hi, Juria.
how are you, my lady?
Good, good.
It's
You look
been too
good.
long. I can't see you, but I'm sure you look good too.
Yeah, I have my camera off today.
That's
I'm still in
okay.
the
No
car.
worries. No worries. Drive safely. Keep your ears open if there's and your eyes open if there's anything you want to add or talk about, but you can't while you're driving. Just reach out to me. Oh, there you are. Hello, Sabrina. I was just telling them that you are my chat GPT whenever it comes to anything technology based. So
No,
if you
I
start
try.
seeing me
Not
doing
all
this,
the
then
time.
you know. Kelly is here. Ray is here all the way from Taiwan. Madhu is here. Hey, Ray, good to see you. Ray, between you and me, Jess messaged me about a licensed event in Kaohsiung. I don't know if you guys are going. You on mute, my man. I can't hear you. Still on mute.
I think it's in Taichung, like the other city. It's not in
Ah,
Kaohsiung. But yeah, she told me about it, and she would like to invite because it's
okay.
gonna be probably the biggest competition, CrossFit license competition in Taiwan ever. So I think
Wow.
it would be an honor and pleasure for us to invite you to come to represent CrossFit and let people see not just the competition side, but what is CrossFit all about. So and I think there's also a press conference on September 20th, and
20th.
yeah, but like the full details and everything, Jess is the one who responsible for it. I was just like, I happen to have the contact, so I help connect. Yeah.
Okay. Have I met Jess before at the Macau gathering, maybe, or I haven't met her at all?
Yes, actually, last year, Jason and I were two Taiwanese representative affiliate owners who went to Macau last year, and she's on my right next to me.
Okay. Excellent. Then I kind of know who it is. I'm going to have a call with her later, and then I'll keep you posted on what's happening as well.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you for joining us today. Hey, Madhu,
Pleasure to be here.
thanks, Ray. Madhu, what's for lunch?
Uh, we had an Indian restaurant near the house, so I'm feeding the little one now.
Good, good.
So you
Happy
just
to
see
see
me
you.
go in and out.
Good. Make us jealous with all the good Malaysian food. All right, a few more people coming in. I will be sharing some resources. Sabrina will help me to share some resources later on. Is that Michelle I see there in Hong Kong?
Sing along. Oh, nice.
Okay. Good to see you, Michelle. Hong Kong representing. I love it. I love it. Hey, girls. Nice to see you. Okay, I'm going to give it about 2 more minutes. So be on silent or go for a dark camera if you wish. If you guys want to continue your chat, and I'm just going to wait for more people to hop on before we start.
How was the games, Juria?
It was so good. Really stressful, but my goodness, wasn't it exciting this year?
It was so exciting.
That leaderboard was just up and down on the men's side.
Oh,
It was,
it was
fascinating to
crazy.
see. How did you enjoy it, Kelly? Was it good?
It was great. I just every time I watch you, I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how is it judging there?
Judging's really tough, and I think that's why they sort of keep us, you know, in our own little space. And that's why I couldn't come over and say hi to you guys, and I wish I could. But you know, you sort of stay in your own bubble. You stay off social media just in case there's bugger that judge.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so you don't look at any of that. But you know, Kelly, once you're done after that entire week, because our prep starts the week before, once you're done with it, you're absolutely done. You are so, your brain is fried, your emotional state is completely disrupted, but there's a big sense of relief because thank God it's over.
And like, no, I feel like this year's games was just fun all around.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just fun. It was just good vibes. It was good energy.
What event was your favorite, Kelly?
I honestly, I thought every single event was programmed so well, and like, it was just fun to watch. I really liked the snatch and the run.
Yep. Oh, that was fun.
That was crazy, you know. The box jump over one was fun too. I mean, they were all fun. They were just so, like, I don't know, in my opinion, classic CrossFit. So it was just fun to watch.
How about the pegboard on day 2 that was so slippery for everyone?
Oh, I couldn't get to watch that one.
It was crazy because during the time that we took them out to go test the pegboard, people said, oh, it feels easier than what they practice on or what they train on. But obviously everyone's sweat and body grease and all kinds of weird stuff that got stuck on that pegboard eventually. It was a shit show, to be honest. You know, people really struggled.
Wow, I gotta go back and watch that one.
Yeah, you better. All right, guys. Listen, I think I'm going to get started because most of us are here. I think I see Princess Kokalangu from Singapore. I see Bianca from Singapore. William from Saudi. Veron, hey, good to see you. So guys, thank you. Very good to see you. I'm going to get started. I'm going to do something that I'm not really well versed in, and that is running a slideshow. The last time I did this was back in my corporate life, and I'm talking 2011. When it comes to presenting at the CrossFit seminars, we like to go whiteboard style. So this is going to be a little bit different. So please give me some guidance if I get stuck as well. Katie from Vietnam is here as well. So good to see you, Katie. Can you guys quickly type in the comments for me the name of your country so that I have an idea of where we're from? In the comments, quickly type your country for me. I see Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, Saudi. Woo, Saudi. United States. Oh my goodness. What time is it that side? I don't want to know. Malaysia. Danny, my favorite Danny. Love that woman. Taiwan, Hawaii. Oh my God, 6 p.m. Okay, that's not too bad. Hong Kong, Malaysia. Shout out to Hawaii. Kelly is originally from Hawaii. How do you say hi in the language there? Kelly? Aloha. There you go. I should have known that. I've seen that on t-shirts and stuff. All right. So guys, I'm going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. Before I do that, welcome to everyone and thank you for being here. I see that there are people that I've not met before. My name is Juria. I'm a CrossFit coach, seminar staff member, and country manager for affiliates across South Asia. Today's conversation is one I'm deeply passionate about, how we as coaches can better support a woman going through menopause and perimenopause. We coach women through, you know, just a standard state of being a girl. Then we coach some of them through pregnancy. We're lucky to get them back because we won their trust and they come back postpartum, which is, you know, a tricky one to coach as well. And I feel like we never discussed really how we should guide them through perimenopause and then menopause. Quickly speaking about myself, just for, you know, 1 minute, up to 3 years ago, I was not aware of this thing called perimenopause. I had all the symptoms, you know, everything was going haywire on my body and I was wondering what the heck is going on. But luckily, once I got the term, I could start researching and learn about it. And then I had a band of supportive women around me, so we could actually help one another. And this was where our 30-day informal study was born from, saying, okay, hold on, let's try a protocol that we know work for standard people. Let's measure it scientifically over 30 days and see what we come up with. So first things first, I want you to understand that this is not a medical lecture. It is a coach-to-coach conversation. We'll focus on what we learned during that 30-day informal study using CrossFit, whole food nutrition, journaling, very important, and then critical community support. By the end, you'll have tools, language, and perspective to help women in your gym feel seen, supported, and strong during this transition. So before I share my screen, raise your hand if you coached a woman over 40. And have you actually had a chat with her about menopause? Keep your hand up. All right, I see a few. And I'm hoping by the end of this that you will have more tools that everyone can raise their hand. Sarah from Singapore, I see you. That's the idea, so that we can have an open conversation and we normalize this conversation. All right, here goes. We're going to start sharing screens. Sabrina on my side. Okay, guys, give me a thumbs up if you see my screen. Wonderful. All right. So why do we need to have this discussion? By 2025, over 1 billion women will be in menopause worldwide. And yet most women don't even realize when they're in perimenopause. What they feel are things like fatigue, brain fog, sleep disruption, mood swings, recovery struggles, weight changes. And sometimes that's when they come to us when they start seeing that the body is changing. As coaches, we're often the first to notice these shifts. If we ignore them, we don't want to talk about it, we feel uncomfortable about it, then women start feeling isolated. If we acknowledge and adapt, women feel empowered, and this is why it matters. Quick reminder, CrossFit is about longevity, helping people thrive across their lifespan. So menopause should not be a fringe topic. It's a universal phase every woman will experience if she lives long enough. And in Asia, women are living longer and longer, right? So ignoring this would leave our athletes unsupported. Sorry, just a truck coming past. Hopefully it's not too disruptive. Okay, so how do we explain this? The simplest way to explain, and this is not based on you as the audience, this is based on me and my limited language, is that estrogen and progesterone in a woman's body is like a Wi-Fi signal. When it's strong, everything connects. Energy is good, mood is there, sleep is nice, metabolism and recovery, everything is hunky-dory. In perimenopause, this Wi-Fi becomes unstable. Full bars one day, buffering the next. And here's the kicker. This stage can last anything between 4 to 10 years. And for some women, it starts really early in their life. Menopause is defined as 12 months with no period or cycle. And after that, the body runs on a new lower baseline network. The symptoms we previously mentioned, brain fog, joint aches, fatigue, hot flushes, mood swings, these aren't random, folks. This is the body adjusting to the new hormonal environment. And our role as coaches is to coach these ladies through it. So let's have a quick look on the biology of menopause. I'm not going to go into this very deep. It's just basically broad brush strokes. We have estrogen that lowers, and that has an impact on energy, mood, bones, talking about bone density, and cardiovascular protection, talking about the heart and then the arteries as well. Progesterone, once that goes down, sleep is gone. That sense of calm and balance is gone. Testosterone, that's a slower decline, and what she starts losing there is strength, libido, and recovery. On the flip side of this, your body is trying to upregulate, and you would have the pituitary gland trying to give more FSH and LH, which would be follicle stimulating hormone, and LH luteinizing hormone. I probably mispronounced that, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Those things are shouting at the ovaries to upregulate, but there's no or very little response. And as you can see, this creates an environment that is not really optimal for the lady. Interesting enough, and this is a slide I added last night, I was thinking, hey man, how does it work with men versus women, and how do we actually feel it? And I think you would know the answer, because if we compare the average 50-year-old male versus female in our gyms, we would see a different picture. So with women, we talk about the Wi-Fi analogy. The signal drops sharply, so big changes as a result. With men, it's more like a power grid, and it slowly declines over time. It starts off sooner, the decline of the testosterone, but it declines slowly. So it's gradual changes that the body can adapt to potentially. And here's the other thing, the doctor will probably prescribe things for them to help them, where women are not that lucky in general. But anyway, let me stay on point here. The takeaway here is women face a fast transition. It's like a drop, where men slowly fade over time. Make that sound very sad, but you know where we're going with this. In terms of health risk, this is where it gets interesting. Women post-menopause are at a much higher risk of cardiovascular disease. In fact, if you go Google the main killer, you will see that it is cardiovascular disease. Leading causes will be heart attack, ischemic heart disease, stroke. So estrogen decline, there's a direct relation in removing that protection for cardiovascular functions in the body. I wanted to give you some food for thought, and that would be in Asia, the contrast that we see, basically two sides of the spectrum. In Japan, you would have a lower risk of cardiovascular disease because of the diet. They eat more soy, they have more omega-3 in the form of the fatty fish that they consume, and their lifestyle is probably they do a lot more walking, for example. In contrast, truck coming fast, sorry. In contrast would be India, where there's a higher risk of cardiovascular disease burden because there's an increase in metabolic syndrome as well. And then the nutrition probably does not contribute that much to health as well. So we have two very different looking pictures depending on where you look in Asia. So let's talk about what we did with our 30-day study. In our 30-day informal study, here's what participants were prescribed. We prescribe 3 to 5 CrossFit sessions per week at their relative intensity. And as you know, this is based on what the body can take and what the mind can take. And based on that for the day is where we focus their intensity. The eating was whole food eating, food that is non-processed. And for some of them, we said, can you actually cook one meal at home a day so that you know what goes into it, just to bring them back. At Indira, we're quite lucky because we have been educating people about nutrition since the very start, when we started off in 2012. So when we talk about food and nutrition, it's not a new topic for our people, but other gyms, it might be a bit different. We also had a daily journaling, and this would be like a Google Doc that gets shot over to them, and then they just go through the prompts for the day. How was the energy, the mood, the sleep, the symptoms? On a daily basis, what we did was a motivational WhatsApp nudge. So we sent that out as a broadcast, and that was just a motivational message saying like, okay, hold on, man, we're almost there, that kind of thing. So what was the goal? The goal wasn't fat loss or performance PR. The goal was connecting. A connection for this woman to see patterns and rebuild confidence in their body. And the results we saw after only 30 days was the first result that we started seeing, I think about a week in, was a reduction in brain fog. And this happened throughout for all the females. And this is big because all of these females are working females. They have a professional life that they need to take care of on top of their families. So what we saw was better sleep, improved consistency in showing up at the gym. And most importantly, folks, I would like to reiterate here, was a language to explain what they were going through. And I don't know about you, once there's language, it makes it easier to handle. So what does it mean for you? Practical coaching applications. Here's what you can do tomorrow when you go back to the gym. You can first start by scale by feel, not ego. If you notice that recovery is poor for her, reduce the volume, but keep her moving. And avoid intensity. What I mean there is don't avoid intensity, but scale smartly and be mindful of the language you use around scaling. If you are in a gym where we keep saying things like scale down, instead of just saying scale, we stand the risk of making her say, I don't want to scale because then I seem like I'm a loser. What we're trying to say is, hey, I'm going to change this and adapt it to where you are today. And, you're still going to reach your intensity. You're still going to have a really good workout. Celebrate consistency over intensity. Showing up at this stage is what counts most. And if you can celebrate that instead of new PRs only, this would already keep her coming back for more. Cue autonomy. Things like, let's work with where you are today. And that's why it's so important to check in with a lot of the girls when they come in as, hey man, how are you feeling today? This can be casual or it can be a little bit premeditated. And I'm going to have a few examples for you there later on. Then, of course, very important as well is the food focus. And what we want to do here, if you know, for example, that this female comes from a background of an eating disorder or disordered eating, of course, you need to tread carefully, but it doesn't mean that you cannot address the elephant in the room. We need to talk about it. And it can be as simple as, did you eat real food today? And that can open a conversation, because if she goes like, hold on, what's real food? Does an egg tart count for real food? Now we can really dig in and say, hold on, let's go back to the education piece of this. So what we want to steer clear of here is, did you hit your macros as an example? For some athletes, this is just going to send them into a tailspin, and we want to avoid that. So menopause coaching isn't about special programming, folks. It's about coaching with empathy and adaptability. In the level 1, when we talk about nutrition, we spend almost an hour talking about quality food, and we say, this is what you eat. Whole foods will be protective of your health. And then we add in the weighing and measuring part towards the end. At the level 2, if you recall, now what we talk about is the psychology or positive psychology of making people stick to that new habit. So we're talking about compliance. The same 4 elements that we use at the level 2 can be used for these changes that the females are hoping for as well. So let's start at the beginning. Building self-efficacy in midlife women. Self-efficacy is that belief that I can do this. I have the ability to stick to these changes. And often a good reminder there is for her to think of, hey, when you didn't train to versus how you are now when you are training, what were the steps that you took to become more compliant with your exercise program? The same will be true with lifestyle. Reminder, during perimenopause, some women feel that their bodies are betraying them, meaning that they're feeling off balance, off kilter. So we need to get them back to the state of believing in themselves, in their body specifically. So how do we do this? We base this on Professor Bandura's work, professor at Stanford University. And he says what we need to do are 4 factors, and we use these 4 factors at the same time to be most effective. First one would be mastery experiences. These would be small wins, celebrating her finishing the workout and not punishing because she DNF or something like that, or setting it up in such a way that she actually can finish the workout. Vicarious experiences, role models matter. Share stories of other women who adapted and thrived. For CrossFit South Asia, I'm blessed to have a look at social media accounts, and frequently what I see is us celebrating PRs, sexy snatches, and butterfly keeping pull-ups. But I think the stories that we need to start sharing as well are these stories of women who actually remain compliant through this stage and actually become stronger as a result. So let's share those stories. In addition to the other 2, we have verbal persuasion. As a coach, what you are doing is very powerful. Your words carry weight. Making it normal to say consistency is key instead of intensity is key would go a long way to keep her with you. Final one is managing physical and emotional states. Help her reframe those symptoms. Example, for me in particular, hot flushes was a big thing. And if someone just helped me normalize it, when I start doing all the signs that, I'm burning up and someone else is jokingly doing the same thing or sending me to go stand at the fan so I can cool down a bit or take off my shirt, it's going to help me to understand that this is normal. It's part and parcel of what we are going through. So normalizing this, instead of seeing it as betrayal from the body, see it as, hey man, this is what it is and I know how to handle it. Stand in front of the fan or take off a shirt, start dressing in layers. So that's how you can boost it. What we saw in our study that was very beneficial as well is the fact that we help women reconnect. And this was with the daily journaling prompts. These were very powerful. Prompts included things like, what's your energy level today? How did you sleep? Did you eat mostly real food? What movement during today's workout felt good? How do you feel emotionally? This could be like before the workout versus after the workout, and you will see a definite shift. And then very important, what help you feel grounded? This isn't just journaling. So I don't want you to think of this as journaling. It's awareness training. Awareness drives autonomy, and autonomy builds resilience. And this is where we want her to be. So to my male coaches, you might feel like this is something that you should not address. You should not talk about menopause. But you know what? If you are coaching women over the age of 35, you are already coaching women in perimenopause. Women won't come in saying, I am perimenopausal. Most of the time they'll say things like, I'm tired, training feels off. I don't know why, man, but my body is changing. In that moment, you're not meant to fix. You're not meant to diagnose. What you need to do is notice, listen, and adjust. And by doing that, you portray coaching leadership. In my slide, we don't want these women to be treated with kid gloves, wrapped in tissue paper. This is not what they want. All they want basically is your understanding and respect, and helping them to find those small wins every single time they come in to the gym to train with you. My final bullet there is a link back to the Professional Coach article, and that's the one that was published based on our results in the Professional Coach. And there will be a lot of useful tips for you to use. We got a QR code there for later as well, once we go through the resource. My final slide might raise a few eyebrows. It's about hormone replacement therapy. Now remember, folks, we need to stay within our scope. This is a nudge, not a prescription. We stay in scope, we don't prescribe, but we should know the facts. The 2002 WHI study scared women off HRT. It was linked to cancer. But since that time, the study has been heavily challenged and debunked in many ways. And if we look at the latest science out there, the evidence shows that for healthy women under the age of 60, within 10 years of menopause, HRT can be safe and protective. When I say protective, I'm talking about protecting her bone density. You know what happens with osteoporosis and everything, right? And also protecting her cardiovascular functioning. So making her heart stronger, giving her some protection for the brain as well. So it helps with bone health, sleep, mood, muscle preservation. The discussion that we wanted to have is we want her to go and talk to her doctor. And I'm going to give you a couple of resources later on so that when she goes and talks to her doctor, she comes from a place of power, meaning that she has knowledge already so that the doctor can't bamboozle her. What we see in the medical profession is that they stay stuck on the 2002 data as opposed to being a bit more updated with what we see currently. And I'm going to connect you with a couple of experts out there as well, all females. So this nudge that you give her can change a woman's trajectory. So please consider this. All right. I would like Sabrina to hop in now for me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a second. And Sabrina is going to drop a link in the comments for us. If you guys can just open that link for me and just give me a thumbs up if you see the Enduro resource. I kept the original resource because I wanted to highlight the language that we used. Sabi, are you doing that for me? Okay. While Sabrina does that for us, I just quickly want to go through a question. I have a question from Sarah. Sarah's question is, what do you mean by grounded? Grounded from the day's activities or grounded from any movements during the class? Sarah, that's such a great question. What I mean by that is grounded from the entire day. So for some women, what we found is the act of journaling and just replaying through their memory what happened during the day actually grounds them. So sort of neutralizes everything, as opposed to staying in her head and thinking the next thing that I need to do is I need to go feed the kids. I need to go be sure the dogs are doing what they're supposed to do. And then I have to prepare for tomorrow. Oftentimes for females, our role is not just one thing. And to my men out there, no offense, yeah? But for the females, your role is not just one thing. You will be a coach, you'll be a caretaker, you'll be a mother, you'll be a protector, and the list goes on. I don't have enough fingers. So our headspace, Sarah, becomes a little bit muddled sometimes. And what we need in that moment is something. She needs to find her way to be grounded. For me, it's breathing. For someone else, it's writing. For someone else, it's heavy thrusters. Whatever it is, you need to find the thing that brings you back to zero. By zero, I mean neutral. Does that make sense? Awesome. Thank you. Sabrina, did you drop that link for us for the PDF?
Hold
I
on.
can't hear you, my lady.
Zoom is not allowed. Yeah, Zoom is not allowing me to put the file directly. So
Okay,
I'm
stand
gonna
by,
upload it to
guys.
Google Drive and then drop the link. I'll let you know when
Okay.
it's done.
While we're busy with that, thank you, Sabrina, for taking that off my shoulders. I cannot handle it. Let's quickly see. Are there any questions before we get into the resource? Any questions are welcome. Here's a question from Puvan in KL, Malaysia. Puvan says, just spoke to a friend going through menopause. She doesn't have the drive to work out due to mood fluctuations. How to encourage her? Puvan, first and foremost, congratulations on building the trust with that client so that she actually comes to you and discusses this. So here, what we need to focus on is we need to probably reframe things for her. I don't see you, Puvan. Okay, there you are. I see you. We need to reframe. We don't want her to come to the gym to come and smash it and PR everything. Maybe what she's feeling is the weight of expectancy that she has to perform in a certain way. What you want to reiterate with her is saying, listen, we just want you to show up at the gym and be consistent. And then you check in with her with one of those prompts that we're going to share early on, and you're going to see where she is today. How are you feeling today? Let's look at the workout. Okay, hold on. This might be a little bit too much, element A, but element B, we can push that a bit more. Example, maybe it's not heavy thrusters today. We're going to scale that load for you. We might even scale the movement to a front squat, depending on, whether that shoulder is acting up. And then the part B of that workout, the second element, is something on the assault bike, and you're going to slam it on the assault bike, for example. That gives her a sense of a small win and mastery, and she knows it's acceptable to not crush it every single day. And then Puvan, eventually, because eventually your clients become older, right? If you're doing it well, they stay with you, they become older. Eventually, that lady now, if she is boosted, she becomes the role model for the other females in your group. And now you have something very powerful. You have someone who can speak from experience as well. I hope that makes sense and answers your question, Puvan.
Thanks, Juria. Just a quick
No,
one
what?
as well.
Please, sir.
She also doesn't have the drive to even get out of bed and go to the gym, let alone talk about the movements. So like I've been just having an open chat with her to say like, hey, look, have you been moving? Have you been going out and just having walks rather than even talking about movements in the gym? So she's like been really sluggish even getting out of bed.
Yeah, it gets really gnarly. So Puvan, a good thing there maybe is to start saying you need to move every day. So maybe it's a 20-minute walk, something that she would do, and then commit to 1 or 2 classes at your gym. You and me both know that people need at least 3 to make it very effective. But if we start with 1 or 2 consistently, and when she comes in, you boost her as much as you can, that's going to keep her coming back for more, hopefully. Please keep me posted, my man. And after the resources, if there's something that worked for you in particular, please share with me so I can share that with other people as well.
Thanks, Juria.
No worries. All right, folks, let's get to the resource. Can you click that link that Sabrina so kindly dropped in the chat box for us? And you should get to about 5 pages of a PDF. Can anyone give me a thumbs up to say, yes, I got it? Katie, thank you. All right. So guys, from the start, I just want to have a look at that at the letter quickly, and I want you to focus on the wording that we used. We talk about things like curiosity, openness to contribute to a larger conversation, and also we mention outdated views and what will redefine this new stage of life that she's moving for. We also focus a bit more on, as we continue learning together, we'd like to share a list of resources with you. And of course, we say by no means is this an exclusive or exhaustive list of resources. There's a lot more out there, but be curious and go look. And then when we start with the resources, we start with a resource that I found really helpful, and that is from the folks from Precision Nutrition. They do fantastic infographics. And if I look at the faces, yeah, I know a bunch of you have done either their level 1 or their level 2 as well. So the first thing that we started with the ladies was saying, okay, let's go see what is going on with the body when we talk about, or when we go through perimenopause and menopause. Another reason why I love precision nutrition is because they bring in a bit of humor. And if we can bring lightness to the topic, it makes it a little bit easier to go down as well. From there, we go to the second baseline, which would be nutrition. And we divided it. Since we are in South Asia, we would have meat eaters and we would have plant eaters, and we would have to have something for both. Once again, we use a precision nutrition guideline there, and you will see there's a link for you on how to choose protein, because we, after all our nutrition challenges at CrossFit Enduro, the one thing that we notice generally is that the majority of females undereat protein chronically. Like, it's a big problem. So that one is going to tell them exactly what is a quality resource, or a reminder, what's a quality resource for protein, whether it's animal or plant. Then we had a bunch of articles there on movement and lifestyle. And this is just because I like to have a bit of scientific backbone to it as well. And this is based on science out there, you know, coming back to data-driven evidence. And this is why strength training is key during menopause. And for you and me, we might be already like, man, that makes total sense. But for the average person out there who maybe starts with us, when they go to a doctor and they are above a certain age, doctor will tell them to go pick up, you know, yoga or Pilates, or do something that suits their age. And you and me should both be like, no, that's not the case. We need you to do strength training. And this is one of the articles that describe why we need strength training, to preserve the muscle of the body and keep her healthier and fitter overall. We have an interesting piece there on starting CrossFit at 45 years old to manage perimenopause symptoms. And then we have some lifestyle adjustments there. But I'm going to fast forward. I want to go to the next page on resources. Now, I don't know how many people read books anymore, but I'm still a big fan. And we have a list of 4 or 5 books for you there. My personal favorite is number 2. And this is The New Menopause, written by Dr. Marie Claire Haver. She is an OBGYN by profession. And this woman is just something else. She has, I think, 1 million followers on Instagram. And what she does is she brings the science. And her book is fantastic because I have the PDF version of it. When I went to speak to my doctor, for example, about HRT, and this is now currently in Thailand, her book gave me a list of things that I can show and have a really, I would say, a knowledgeable discussion with the doctor, showing them some of the evidence out there. So that we can have a better conversation, because it's really easy for the doctor to steamroller you and say, no, man, just deal with it because this is part of life. And she does a fantastic job saying, this is what you need when you go have that discussion with your doctor. If HRT is not something that you want to educate yourself about, I'm talking about you, then when it comes to symptoms, she does a fantastic job as well, talking about symptom-specific things. And
sorry,
man, someone else is talking to me. All right, I continue. That was not a question, right? Stop me if it is a question. And then from there, she goes into symptom specific. It could be something like hair loss. It could be brain fog. It could be sleep disruptions. And she talks about the evidence linked with perimenopause and menopause. How do the hormones fit in there? And then she talks about scientifically backed things that you can do to try and improve those symptoms. Absolutely love her. We got a few books from Dr. Stacey Sims as well. She's great to follow. And then old school, man, the Bible, the whole 30, just to reset nutrition habits there as well. I also have on number 6, Primal Endurance from Mark Sisson. You know, he calls a spade, which is very helpful in today where everyone tries to sell you something. My final piece here for you is social media accounts. And we have a bunch there for you. I think we have 4 or 5. 4. My favorite there is Dr. Marie Claire. And you will see that there are 4 options there for you, 2 from the UK, 2 from the United States. And I'm hoping in time that we will have some people here in Asia doing the same thing for us. These are people from a medical profession or medical background. And that's the kind of accounts we want to follow as well. Here's my checklist. Puvan, this is something that can come in handy, but you know, you are empathetic as a coach already. I've known you for quite some time. So maybe some of these would be too basic for you. So a quick connection, 30 seconds, something like when she comes in, how's your body feeling today compared to yesterday? Or it could be as short as, what's your energy level today, between a 1 to a 10? Readiness and adjustment, any stiffness, soreness, or tightness I should know about. For you and me as CrossFit coaches, of course, this goes without saying. We ask that at the whiteboard generally. But you know, at the whiteboard, generally when we brief, this is where people just go, no, I don't have any injuries. And once we get to the workout, they go like, hey, coach, my shoulder. So what I want you to think of here is try and pull her to the side before class starts, and the two of you just have a quick one-on-one. Something else to add there potentially is, talking about sleep, because that's a major issue for most women. And my personal favorite is, hey, today, push the pace, focus on skill, or keep it steady. And that shows her that all three are acceptable. And if you can think of another option there, that's acceptable as well, as long as that option is not staying at home and doing nothing. Session intent, we have a short one for you there, and then a wrap-up reflection. That wrap-up reflection is something that could generally, during cool down with your people, everyone's on the floor, sizzling like bacon. That could be the time that I ask, hey man, what went well for you today? That's a very basic application of positive psychology used for everyone. For some people, it will sink in. For some people, it will just bounce off. That's okay. Slowly over time, we make people more aware that self reflection is a critical part of being a human being, an effective human being. I want some feedback. Did it go well? Did it not go well? What can I do different? Final piece there for you guys on that page is a QR code and a link to our piece that was published in the Professional Coach last month. And I find that is super beneficial as well. That could be a good reading for people, or a good reminder or a resource for your coaches to go educate themselves. All right, give me a thumbs up if you see everyone else's faces, not some screen, right? Okay, we've covered a lot, folks. Now, I would love to hear from you. What questions do you have? What challenges are you seeing in your gyms? Please go for it, if there's anything.
Do you want us to type it, or can we just jump in?
You can jump in, Katie. I would love for you to jump in.
I think the biggest thing that I see and I hear all the time from women is the amount of information that is out there. And like all the, we shared, you gave some resources to maybe share with them, but every day I have a different person come in saying, oh, I'm not supposed to run. I can't do long endurance stuff. I need to make sure I'm jumping. I need to wear weighted vests. I have to eat this much. And it's just like, so
much.
I want to get what's like the 3 most important things, or what are like, here are some points that like, what you should focus on and maybe help turn off all the other noise, or what noise you should listen to. And I think I'm also trying to figure out how to navigate that and who to trust online and what resources to trust. But that seems to be like a big thing right now, like information overload.
Yeah.
How to navigate that, or advice, or what other people do.
Yep. And you're so right, because there's so much information out there and everyone is trying to sell you snake oil. So you really have to be mindful. I think the biggest takeaway for people is they show up consistently to the gym, because now they're going to be in an environment that is supportive. And from there, you have them in your hand and you can guide them and boost their self-efficacy. So consistency when they come in. We know that strength training is going to be one of the things that turn the dial for them as well, because increased muscle mass is going to help them with the symptoms. But I'm not going to say that's my number 2. First for me is consistency. They need to come into you so you can be the positive influence in their life. Maybe you're not going to hit home every single day, but she knows when she goes to the gym, when she goes to CrossFit Tejo, Katie's going to be there. She's got my back. I think the other piece there is nutrition, because if the fuel is not right, and if she keeps eating things that's working against her body, that's going to be a problem, because everything else is going to go into a downward spiral. It comes back to, how do we educate them about nutrition at the gym? Is it a thing at your gym, or is it a once a year thing? We do it for 4 weeks and we all say just how terrible it is to eat meat, vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar, and I can't wait to get back to donuts. So It has a lot to do with that. So it might mean you might have to adjust how you guys teach nutrition. The number 3, I'm going to leave open because I don't know. It depends on the person in front of you. If she's struggling with something else, like she doesn't know how to self-regulate, you need to find ways for her to teach her. And that's what we do at the gym as coaches as well. We teach people how to self-regulate. You know that moment when people get so frustrated with the double under rope and they want to throw the rope across the room and take someone's eye out in the process? That's when we give them a hard no and a, readjustment. And in a way, that's teaching them how to self-regulate. With this, obviously now on a more personal scale, it's the same thing. And it's going to depend on her level of comfort. Sorry, my English is going. Her level of comfort with you, Katie, and what she discusses with you. I hope that makes sense, my lady. All right, great question. Thank you. I see something here from Wiam in Saudi. She says, my question is about the symptoms and severity. Are they age-related or elevating through the same period? What work with you to help them understand it? Wiam, I just want to be sure I understand here. Do you hear me, Wiam?
Yes. Hi, Juria. How are you?
Hi, my lady. I'm very good. Thank you. Once again, thanks for joining us. The symptoms and the severity depends on the person to person. Like some people, it starts earlier. And if you look at some of the data out there, like scientific data out there, it seems like if they haven't had children or they haven't been pregnant before, that some of these perimenopause symptoms can start out a little bit sooner. And depending on whether she's training or not, that will impact the severity of the symptoms as well. So what I like to share with people, those who, want to hear my story every now and then, obviously I keep it short, but I say my saving grace was the fact I haven't had children, never was pregnant. So I don't have that protective measure of estrogen. I say that my saving grace was the fact that I was training CrossFit consistently throughout. I didn't have a choice, man. I had a gym to run. And I need to train. Even if I don't feel like it, I have to train. So what I found with my severity of my symptoms, the moment that I trained, plus I locked in my nutrition, not 100%, 85% was good enough, that would help me with the severity of my symptoms. So it depends on the person in front of you. So sometimes if they're super stressed, you will see that the hot flushes just go through the roof. Example for me, when I am traveling and I'm sitting next to someone very close to me in an aeroplane, and we are like 7 hours in on this journey, and this person starts doing the man spread into my space, my hot flushes just go through the roof. I can almost time it. Every 30 minutes, it will come through. So it depends on the environment as well. So now, that was a long answer. So it depends on the person in front of you, and it depends on the environment they're in as well. Currently for me, I am taking a combination of progesterone and estrogen, and that has helped significantly for me in terms of sleep quality. And for me, that was the biggest game changer, was sleep. And now that I have proper sleep again, especially because I can bounce between time zones as well, depending on where the job sends me, that has been the best thing for me. But how did I do it? I went to speak to a healthcare provider. We did blood tests so that we know exactly what is going on. And then there will be a retest to see where we are going. In terms of the application of things like estrogen, there's been great advances. It doesn't have to be systemic. Systemic has to go through the liver, which can have some impact on cancer risk for some people. And because there is cancer in my family and cardiovascular disease, I have to be mindful of that. So a topical gel is what helps me a lot. I don't really feel those benefits, but I know that my brain fog is better. It's not gone completely. I'm still myself. I'm a bit all over the show every now and then, but at least in terms of handling things, it's better. And I do know that I have that protective measure for my heart as well. I hope that answers, my lady.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
No
and
worries.
it means
No
a lot
worries.
that you're sharing your story.
No worries. Thanks, Liam. Anything else, team? Veron says she's in her late 40s, trying to navigate the journey. Oh, Veron, I'm with you. I see you. Okay. It's not easy, but you got this. You're in a supportive community. I just wanted to add one thing. Of the females that were part of our study, by no means was this a huge group. It was a small group of people. But what we saw, Veron, the ones that stuck to the program, that were most compliant, were the ones who were actually at a CrossFit gym. So you know that line where we tell you at your level 1 that CrossFit gyms are lifeboats in a tsunami of chronic disease? It's actually the truth. Go figure. These ladies, once they know that they are in a supportive environment, they stay. And because they stay, they are compliant, they reap the benefits. So it's not easy, Veron, but you'll get there. And if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
share the good things, yeah? So now you need to
Oh
go share
yeah,
with
for
someone
sure,
else.
for sure. Even through this presentation, thank you so much for taking the time to shed so much light on this topic. To be honest, I've been fighting with this, trying to figure out, is it just daily life or is it just what am I struggling with? Where is it coming from exactly? Because I've been CrossFitting for all in all, counting towards 8 to 10 years. So I'm like,
Yeah, I think
feel
it's 10
that
years.
I should have the baseline there, right? So why do some days I feel like I'm regressing? And as a coach, I found it a little bit difficult to share, especially
Yeah.
when you're just coming to the box and you're like, okay, I want to like hype them up. I want to get them feeling ready for the ward ahead, you know? But just being able to get this knowledge from you and having the resources to go forward, now I'm starting to see, oh, actually, I can use my experience to help them rather than let it be a barrier and something that will make me feel down. I can actually switch it. I can pivot this situation.
Yes.
So it's been encouraging. And yes, honestly, every time when I go to the box, because I work out before I start my sessions, I do the workout on the board first. And
Yeah.
no matter how I may feel like, oh, you want to do this today. Once the session has ended and I've done the workout, I always feel better.
Always, right?
Yeah, always. So.
And that's what we saw with our study participants as well, because they measure before and after. And before they go in, they're like, oh, I don't want to. And then after, they feel that everything is better. But going one step back, Veron, your courage to share your journey will normalize the conversation instead of turning it into something that like, hey, man, I don't want to talk about this. So kudos, my lady. Keep doing what you're doing. Leading from the front. That's leadership. I just quickly want to see your team. I have a question here from Katie, but I also want to be sure I didn't miss anyone. Okay, I see Veron. Katie says, what did your group of women do after the study? Did you find that they were able to truly build awareness and habits that have stuck? Do you have regular check-ins, or how do you encourage them along the path that makes them feel best? Great question, Katie. Some of these people we keep close to our bosom because they are at Enduro, so they're in that supportive community. And it's amazing because now we don't have to do much because the baseline have been laid, and we do reiterate nutrition properly once a year. And then we also practice what we preach in terms of relative intensity for the people that we are facing or having with us. A case in point would be Melanie. She's one of my 6 a.m. warriors. This woman she is just she's a fire eater. But there's also her symptoms have been very severe. So just quickly check in with her and say, how you doing? And reading the room. When she comes in, you know what she's feeling like. Just a quick check-in. Hey, man, what's up today? Are you still feeling the double unders from 2 days ago or something like that? The people who we do not know where they are compliant are the people who are not at Enduro. And Katie, this comes back to some of the people, the first people who dropped off the study were people who were not training at a CrossFit box, because they didn't have the support. They didn't have that support to stay on track, even if it was just with the exercise part of it. But the people that I'm still in contact with, one of the ladies, 65 years old, Barbara, this is a late stage in her life to make some changes. She was very compliant with the exercise because her son is a CrossFit coach. So he keeps, hopping on it. And then in terms of diet, it was a re-education, and it was tough for her because she's based in the USA. She's a teacher. She doesn't have much time on her hands, and she had to start cooking a little bit at home, or at least go to a place where she could go, okay, this is my meat, this is my this is my this. And for her in particular, her biggest drive now to stay on it is the fact that she lost so much weight, which is fascinating, right? And now she messages me recently with Murph. She PR'd Murph. So I was one of the people that she messaged saying, you know what happened? So I think you will keep most people, but some of them you will lose. But it's our job as a CrossFit coach to keep reminding those people within our care that the actions matter. MCI, mechanics, consistency, and intensity with the movement, and when it comes to the food, it's the same thing. We need to be aware. Does that answer, Katie? Alrighty. I see a long question here from Ellie. Am I saying that right? Is it Ellie or Eli? Ellie, are you there? Oh, she's driving. I have some perimenopausal clients who are hardworking, but always complain they feel bloated. And they really don't like how their bodies look, especially in the midline. Even though they're doing good in strength, programming, eating moderately well, they're not feeling good because of aesthetics. How can I help them encourage? Or this is a tricky one, because sometimes we are so focused on what's going on. I'm getting fluffy in the midline, so that means what I'm doing is not working. And this is where we need to start telling them that, hey man, it's okay. You just need to work on the nutrition a little bit combined with your movement. And let's rephrase that. Your body is strong, your body is able, and you can do amazing things. Let's focus on other skill development instead of just looking at what my body looks like. This is tough. This is not just for perimenopause, menopausal women. This is for women in general. And CrossFit coaches, my females in particular, you are in a unique position to drive them away from looks to actually performance or just being able-bodied. Ellie, I don't think that answered your question, my lady, but if you want to take it offline with me later, we can do that. Hell yeah, I see people clapping. Was it something I said? Hong Kong. Veron says, not a question, but thank you for bringing this topic to the foreground. Oh no, sorry, Veron, I went back. You see me and technology, guys. Puvan, one thing is always keeping communication open, even as a male coach. Yes, as they are happy to share how they feel and feel safe. And you know, this is not like one day, all of a sudden, if I have been distant to my female coaches as a male, and now the next date, I'm like, hey sister, come on closer, tell me what's going on in your life. That's not going to work. You need to win her trust over time, and you need to come from a place of sincerity. But it's not impossible. I see some fantastic male coaches out there who have the courage to venture into this field of perimenopause, menopause, and sometimes they get burnt, but you know, they stay the path and they come from a place of, hey man, I want to sincerely connect with you. I feel like I'm rambling. Is there anything else? Any more questions? You guys are amazing.
Juria,
Sarah,
so
my dear.
yeah, I did respond to Veron's question. Veron, thank you for that question. So in general, I was at that same point contemplating asking you the same thing, over 40s, especially if you have kids and you are a female coach in the gym, right? And like Veron, we come in, we do the workout or we do the strength base before the class starts, and then you see athletes trickle in, and while they're doing their own little warm-up, they're just sitting there, standing there, looking at you do your work and do your performance. And if you are personally going through perimenopause or whatever the downside is in terms of the symptoms, I feel that there is added pressure in terms of, especially for female coaches, how you actually perform, because there is an expectation from your athletes, especially the younger ones, that, hey, she's a coach, she needs to perform at a certain level. Then how personally can we manage that on our own? Because it's not going to be easy to just explain to them or just tell them like, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling good today. And then they'll be like, you know, that's an excuse you're giving or something like that, you know? So, yeah.
So tough, Sarah, because it's true, that pressure is there and that pressure is not going to go away. The only thing that can change is if we handle it better in a way. So sometimes it means we have to reframe it in our own minds. Sometimes what we think they are thinking is not what they are thinking because they're so worried about themselves. And the moment that we can step out of that and also positively impact the culture of the gym, where it is about, hey, I want your effort today. I don't necessarily need you all slinky sexy. That's not what we need. I need your effort today. And also your honesty. Hey, it's not such a good day for me. We need to do something else, for example. I think then slowly but surely we're going to move in the right direction. But this does not happen overnight. And you are always going to be in a place where you feel uncomfortable. And we need to turn that into fuel as opposed to a damper on our own energy, if that makes sense. Now, Sarah, for each one of us, that journey will look different. And you know, this is sometimes the beauty of as you get older, you get to a point where you go like, I don't care. I don't care what you think about my flappy belly. I don't care what you think about this. I don't care, but I'm going to coach you. When I coach you after this hour, I'm going to focus on MCI and we are going to walk this path together for the next hour. That's easy for me to say because I was the boss of my own box. So there's a certain leniency. If you're working for someone else, it's a little bit different. And that's why the culture of the gym is so critical. If it is not about individual performance and it is about outshining everyone else, then maybe there's some work we need to do. That's my opinion, Sarah. I don't have an answer for you, my lady. In short, I don't know. You need to figure out. I love your honesty. Thank you. Puvan says, Puvan is so lit, hey? He says, maybe being open and vulnerable yourself as a coach, not feeling 100% today kind of manages expectations to clients. If I'm injured, I tell the same. That's a start for sure. We don't have to constantly put up this front, you know, that I'm perfect. Can't stand that word because it doesn't exist. Thank you, Puvan. Appreciate your insight there. Anything else, folks? We are almost on the hour. I'm very respectful of your time. I know you are busy bees out there, changing and impacting people's life for the best. Thank you for joining me today. Coaching through menopause isn't about being a medical expert. It's about being a curious, observant, and supportive coach. As coaches, our job is to remove barriers, build strength, and keep women training for decades to come. Respect, not pity. Adaptation, not avoidance. When we normalize this conversation, we not only retain the women in our gyms, but we help them thrive in one of the most important transitions of their lives. And that's leadership, my people. That's CrossFit coaching. The end. Those who can come on camera for me quickly, can we take a photo of this? Sabi, can I ask your tech-savvy hands to help me? We have so many people here, Sabi. I don't know how we do this. Hey, Jen.
They're all on one screen, so it's okay.
Are they all on one screen now? Okay, some of them hopped off. Okay. Big smile, guys.
3, 2, 1. Okay.
Thank you.
Got it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining, team. I will be online. I'll stay back a little bit if you want to chat. Stay with me or get in touch. Let me quickly see. Those who do not have an email address, just ask those who have, and then we stay in touch. Talk to you soon. Stay strong. Be good.
Thanks, Juria.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Bye. You should say.
How do I stop that?
These friendly faces. Just say end the
Thank you.
meeting.
Bye, Juria.
See you, babe. Be good. That can only be Kelly.
How do I?
Bianca, could you find the button?
No.
Go to the bottom. There's a little thingy on the right side of the box. It says leave. Just leave.
Oh my gosh. It's nowhere.
Go to the bottom.
Yeah, but I have the small video up. I can't see everything.
Just shut down the phone, man. That's what I do. I just reboot everything.
All right, here we go. Bye.
Be good, girl. Thank you for joining. Be good. Puvan, thank you
Juria,
so
sorry.
much, man.
Just wanted to say something. The other thing is also
Yes,
about
sir.
taboo, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a very people don't want to share in Asian countries. It's like, oh, I'm going through menopause. It's not something really good, or they don't want to share. So it's also the other thing that we need to manage as well. Like people need to know that we're always there. It's a normal thing, but it's just not a thing that's very spoken out loud, like normal conversation. So it's also telling clients that, hey, look, it's fine. It's just a phase of life that you go through. Yeah, guys go through it too, but it's just that very different as compared to ladies. So some clients don't want to talk about it because they feel shy talking to a male client, male coach. But
Yeah.
you just have to say that, hey, look, it's something that I can resonate with, but maybe not as much as a female coach.
And I think that's why it's so important to cultivate those females in the gym who would be willing to talk to clients as well, you know, who would be willing to be like a poster child for perimenopause or menopause.
Correct. It was good talking to you. It's a good topic as
seeing
well
you,
as
Pavan.
always. Thank
Thank
you.
you, my
Take
man.
care.
Appreciate. Take care that
Thank you.
side.
Bye-bye.
All
Thanks,
righty.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, Pavan. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. I'm going to close it off now. Sabi, thank you so much. I'll connect with you after this. Be good.